Alright guys, so today I'm going to show you how to make a training belt that you can use for static lifts from a loading pin off the floor, or if you have a cable, pulley system attached to your table, you can also work on your back pressure, etc. All you need is an old H&M belt, cotton woven belt that I've had lying around that I chopped up, some twine, nice thick twine, so it's nice and strong, a decent sized needle so your fingers don't hurt pushing it through. Don't use those little tiny needles, plus you won't be able to get the twine through. And yeah, and an old belt. So what I do is I start by lining everything up nice and straight. So what we're going to do is, for me, I like to back stitch, and that's the easiest and fastest way to get these straight lines when you're stitching. I mean, on the other side doesn't look so pretty, but here it's nice and straight, nice and uniform. Okay, so I'm just going to tie off my end of my twine like so. Okay, just create a knot and clean up the end of it. So I just pull up nice and sharp. Get rid of that. Okay. So what I like to do is, see, this is a little frayed on this side, so I'll start lower so that I don't go through the frayed, and I'll start a bit lower on this one. So I'm all ready to stitch. What I like to do is I like to start at the edge. We'll start further down today. I'll start as close to the edge as possible. Alright. And that way I can get more stitches through to create a stronger stitch. So once I've pulled through, I leave about an inch. Okay, inches plush. And then I will go through right next to where it came through. This is just to create that first stitch. Right, after I've pulled through, pushed through, I've come right next to this inch that I've left. And what I'll do is I'll pull, and before I pull it all through, I create a loop through where I've tied the knot. Right, I go through that loop and I pull. Okay, so that's it. My first stitch, nice and tight, close to the edge, so I can get as many stitches through as possible. So now is I'll back stitch. So I'll push through here, and then when I come through on this side, all right, this first stitch is hard to see because I pulled it through pretty tight. Once I've pushed through here, I'll come through back to where the original stitch was, and so I'm essentially going through and then coming back on myself here, and then I'll end up going 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, etc., etc. So to demonstrate, I'll just show you now. I go in line, I push through, okay, pull through, just leave a little bit, not too much on this side, and then push through again and again. So I'm now creating my first back stitch, back to the original first stitch where I got the 2 pieces of fabric together. Alright, so you can see I've got a straight line there. On this side I've got a straight line here. Okay, so again, Now I won't start here, I'm going to start here, okay? So let's try and do smaller gaps so I can get a few more stitches through. I push through here, okay? I leave a little gap at the back. Again, don't get tangled up, because that'll create problems later. And then now again, I will find that stitch there, and I push right next to it. All right. And on this side, I've come through next to my first stitch. All right. So again, pull nice and tight. I don't go here, so 2 steps forward, 1, 2, pull through, find that here, push through, I will push through here, and I've come through next to my other stitch. All right, nice and tight. Again, just keep going. Next to that, see, I've got a nice straight line going. All right, I come through. We'll do a final one. It's close to the edge. Okay, perfect. Leave a little loop. Through there, and once I get to the edge, I like to leave that loop, and I like to go through this loop. All right, so it's nice and tied off, and you see what we've created is this relatively straight line of stitches. So to finish it off, what I'll do is I will now take the needle and I will go under the last stitch, like so, okay, and I will pull it across until I get this loop, okay, so I've got this loop here, get the needle, and I go through the loop, so I'm like creating, see that knot? Actually, I'm going to create now, and I like to do is I pull across, just so I'm not pulling up, I'm pulling across so I get a nice straight line here. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll do it one more time. I'll go under, so I'm double knotted. Okay, pull, and I'll go through the loop, and again, make sure nothing's caught. I pull across, and then what I like to do is really secure it. Is I take my scissors, and then I'll come up, because I got big fingers. I leave enough twine to tie it off. And then I just like tying a regular knot there. One more time to really secure it, like so. And then I just clean it up, and there you go. So we've created this first one. In order to make it stronger, we need to create another line of stitches. But even so, even with this one, you pull hard and it won't break. So, but just to be safe, again, repeat the process until we're double stitched. Okay, create a knot, clean it up like so. And I'll just move through this pretty quick. Cue the elevator music. Do 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 do. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. And one of my twines has gotten stuck now. Damn it. Alright, what I'll do is I'll just tighten it up. It's alright. It's not a big problem. And there we go. So I created a few more stitches on this one. You can go even smaller and even closer if you want. But now this is double stitched. This thing can take some serious abuse. So I'll add another line here later just to make it a bit more neater. But you know, right now it'll serve its purpose. And yeah, you can even add a third line of stitching if you want to, I mean, really make it super secure. There you go. So from here, now you can just pull. Do all your statics, your pulley work, and it cost, you know, nothing. Most people have stuff lying around. Here in Malaysia, this twine cost me like $1.50. This was something I had lying around. On these will probably cost, well, for me here, again, another $1.50. So for $3, $3 US, nothing. The needles cost me, I think, like 50 cents. So $3.50. And out of the one belt, I was able to make 2 training belts. So, you know, what does that work out to? $1.75 for 2 training belts. $8.75 each. Duh. Yeah. Alright guys, well next I'll just show you how strong these bad boys are. Thanks. Okay, so here's the training belt we just sewed up. Now just get a loading pin. So this is a 15 kilo weight one here, and we'll just bounce it, bounce, bounce, bounce. No problem. It'll take the abuse, and the stitching hasn't come apart at all whatsoever. So you're more than able to really stack up the weight on that loading pin. Let's try a bit more weight. So 35 kilos now on here, and it is no problem at all. So there you go. Homemade training belt, 2 lines of stitching, and it'll hold up to a lot of abuse. So thanks for watching guys, like and subscribe.